It is important to note that people who are depressed or anxious take shorter breaths. There is a direct link between breathing and the chemicals in the brain. Proper breathing improves your health because when you breathe, the oxygen helps your brain function better, helps you calm down, reduces your blood pressure and releases endorphins. Shallow breathing, on the other hand, increases your heart rate and increases your blood pressure. If you feel you're under a lot of stress, there's still time.
I took Silva back in 1991 to enhance my life. In 1996, Silva International had a success contest, and they selected mine to be the grand prize winner. As part of that process, the first Silva instructor, named Nelda Sheets, approached me and asked me if I wanted to speak at the 30th anniversary convention. But I had still this intense fear because I was so shy that if I stood in front of more than one person to speak, I would turn beet red and I would almost get to the point of fainting. Now, prior to that, I had gone to practitioners like NLP, and they had worked on this fear, but it just had no success. So that's when I said, okay, it's time to use the Silva method techniques. So I used the 3 fingers technique to act as a trigger that anytime that I put my 3 fingers together, an instant calming effect would come upon me. And periodically, I would go through the mental rehearsal, and that I would step on the podium, I'd look at the audience, and I would be totally confident. And of course, in the back of the room, I imagined Jose Silva to be sitting there next to a person. And that every now and then he would be pointing to his neighbor and say, who is this guy? He's so good. So that was the mental imagery that I used for this process. So come October time frame, I'm sitting in the front row when my name is called, and exactly as I had pictured, I saw this instant nervousness come upon me. And then I put my 3 fingers together just like I had been practicing, and I saw and I felt this instant calming effect. I step into the podium and I look at the audience, and I'm totally relaxed and confident. And I see during the whole process, as I'm delivering my speech, that everybody is just having fun. And Jose Silva, I actually glanced at him. Every now and then I noticed that he was actually pointing to his neighbor and whispering something, who is this guy? And then afterwards, I spoke to Jose, and Jose said, oh, you've been teaching for a long time, haven't you? I said, no, Jose, this was actually my first public speech. And many people came to me and said, Kane, you did a wonderful job, as if, I'm like a professional speaker. And I said, no, this is the very first time that I have actually stood in front of a group of 200 people and not faint.
In the beginning, things did not change easily, but what did change was the perception of myself. That also goes on with the self-esteem. I remember doing the Silva Method course when I was in Form 4. Right after the course, my studies took a turn. Of course, the more I practiced the techniques, the better I got in my studies. And in the end, I remember that practicing the techniques makes me pass my exam with flying colors.
Coming from a farmyard, 2 young frogs named Herbie and Freddie were curious to explore the world. One day, they found a barrel full of cream. Eager to know what it was, they got to the top of the barrel and dove right in and enjoyed swimming around in the cream. After a while, they got tired and decided to leave. However, there was a problem. There was no foothold whatsoever for them to get a sturdy footing on to jump out of the barrel. Ever the pessimist, Freddie complained about their problem. He kept saying he couldn't do it and that there was no way out. And eventually, he drowned and sunk to the bottom of the barrel. Herbie, on the other hand, kept a positive mind. He refused to give in so easily, so he swam about thinking of a way to get out. As he thrashed about, the cream began to thicken and turned into solid butter. With steady footing, he hopped out, alive.
Freddie left us not because he was the weaker one physically, but mentally. Freddie gave up in his mind. Have you given up on certain things in your life? Have you given up on your dreams just because you didn't know how to achieve them? We may think our brains are just used for work and studies, but in truth, it goes far beyond that. Take dreams, for instance. They can be so potent. They can feel so real. Have you ever dreamt you've been chased? And when you wake up, your heart is pounding, your body is drenched in sweat, and you feel every nerve is frayed. Why, you ask? The chemicals in our bodies simply react to our dreams. That's the power of our brain. As daunting as this may sound, it's actually a good thing. Instead of dreaming, what if you could consciously control the chemicals in your body? What if?
I am very thankful for every single day of my life. I have a beautiful wife, 3 children, and I run my own practice as an architect. What more could I ask for? Well, one thing I did not have was good health. Back in December 2003, when I was 46, I was devastated to find out that I have cancer. My own mother had died of cancer within just 6 months of the doctor's diagnosis. In fact, right after the doctor removed the tumor in my colon, he told me that I only had 35% chance of living within the next 5 years. That meant I had only until August 2005 to live. I then spent a great deal on medical procedures and operations. Although I had undergone 2 cycles of chemotherapy, at the same time, I was desperately seeking alternative treatment. A family dentist told me about the Silva method, which he thought may be able to help me somehow. I decided to give it a shot and signed up for the program, even though I received many discouraging and negative comments from even my relatives and my closest friends. There at the Silva Method Center, I was able to understand the methods more personally. Since then, my health amazingly began to improve. I began to see life more positively. According to my doctor, I am not supposed to be alive today. But here I am. Miraculously, I was given a new lease of life. And this life is a gift given back to me tenfold. Thanks to you, Silva Method.
It seems impossible. Maybe. But is it as impossible as human flight? Harnessing the power of lightning? Wireless communication? All this seemed impossible long ago. Some people may say you're crazy, but we did it. We achieved the impossible by putting our minds to it.
I actually joined the program sometime in September, if I'm not mistaken, in 2004. I'm a cancer survivor. The whole gist of the program really taught me to take control of my mental capacity, because by that time then I realized that the way to good health was to tackle these 3 aspects of my well-being, which is the physical, the mental and the spiritual aspects. Because basically what the program helped me was to focus on how to think positive. Because if you're mentally sick, then you're a negative person, you know. Everything cannot be done, you're going to be sick forever. And the thing about it, the Silva program, is that it helps me even to look at calamities, look at all these negativities in a positive manner. In a way, Silva program has helped me how to turn the table around. So much so that I've now treated my cancer condition as a blessing rather than a curse, you see. Why is it a blessing? Because through cancer, I've been able to forgive my enemies. I've been able to not to take things for granted with my family and my children. I've begun to appreciate life better. If I didn't have that mental training through Silva method, it would be quite tough.